Hi, my name is Clint and I'll be talking about the animal abuse and cruelty tonight with a problem-cause-solution format. My main purpose is to inform you about animal abuse tonight and how everyone should support or volunteer at a local animal shelter. Man caring for God's creature is something that is very serious. God values animals, His love for animals and their lives. We need to rescue animals and to care for them and love them to get them out of their dangerous situations. Love is a very important thing, as explained in 1 Corinthians 13, where God shows His love for us, which can also be applied to love for animals. How can you see an abused animal and not do anything about it? I have such a heart for abused animals, and it pains me to see all these pictures about abused animals or even hear any stories. So I really have a mission I feel like God's calling me to do to take care of abused animals and to love for them. Animal abuse is a problem all over the world, usually caused by humans and can be reduced by being God's servants. I will prove my thesis statement by discussing the problem of animal abuse and how it can be directly related with domestic abuse, and how by being God's servants we can reduce the abuse. In Genesis 1:21, God created sea creatures and living things that scurries and swims in the water, and every sort of bird, each producing offspring of the same kind. And God saw that, and it was good. My first point about the problem with this, animal abuse is everywhere. And an article titled "Animal Abuse in North Carolina is a very serious situation." I quote, "The situation comes after the animal rights organization People for the Ethical Treatment of Animals based in Norfolk, Virginia, released an undercover video revealing abuse of lab animals at Professional Laboratory and Research Services in Coral Peak, North Carolina. Lab assistants who are testing these animals are abusing them. We can't have this. If they're not safe being tested on, how can they be safe out in the real world?" My solution, or my cause for this is, it has a lot to do with humans. It can be directly related with domestic abuse. A fact from the American Humane Association is 70% of animal abusers also have records for other crimes. Domestic violence victims whose animals were abused saw the animal cruelty as one more episode in a long history of indiscriminate violence aimed at them in their vulnerability. Also, man has dominion over God's animals. Man has dominion over animals, and we should not abuse them. As Dr. Alban Jr. states in his text, God has love for animals, and unfortunately as people we do not respect that, and we really need to. So, a solution. How do we fix this? First, we'd be intentional about knowing that animals exist, obviously, but that they're abused as well, and we need to go out, support a local animal shelter, give food, give your time, make sure that we're loving and caring for these rescued animals, or you can go out yourself and rescue animals from their very serious situations. A horse farm in Tennessee found 100 horses being abused. 27 of them actually died. And as Roberts quotes in his article, local horse enthusiasts say they're willing to buy some of the surviving equines and hoping their owners face some form of punishment. This is awful. Horses with their ribs and hips showing because they've been underfed with cracked hooves, and they're just awful in poor shape. They need to be taken care of and loved, and that's where we come in by being God's servants, is loving these abused animals. As we know, animal abuse is everywhere and can be in direct correlation with domestic violence, and we need to serve these animals by loving God. Does this make you think at all? What happens to these animals? There are animals being abused out there right now. Does this make you think of what you can do to help? If so, and how? Thank you for your time.